Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're here to talk about Terror from the Underdeep, our next crowdfunding that launches next Tuesday. First, we're going to introduce ourselves. My name is Joseph Goodman, publisher here at Goodman Games, and I will pass the baton to Chris.
Hey everybody, my name is Chris. I am the director of 5e development and design at Goodman Games, and I will pass the torch over to Matt.
Hello, my name is Matt Hildebrand. I am the art director for Goodman Games. Work on lots of projects, including this cool one. And while I'm at work, I get to work with cool artists and designers. Two of the cool artists are on this call, and I will pass to Stefan, and then maybe you can pass it on to Aaron when you're done there, Stefan.
Yes, I am Stefan Pogue, and I am one of the artists who is working on um, the Underdeep, and here is Aaron.
Hey everyone, Christopher Aaron Crater, go by Aaron, working on Terror from the Underdeep, and really excited because I just love giants. Oh, spoiler.
It's okay. Spoil it all. I always tell the writers,
spoiler
like,
friendly. Yeah.
we put so much cool stuff in the adventures, then we like hide it so the players don't discover it. I mean, the players who are going to discover it are going to buy the adventure and read it anyway. We're not, let's just spoil it because it's cool stuff.
It's hard to miss a giant too, so
Yeah, that's true. Yes. Yeah. All right, so we're going to start by just taking a couple minutes to remind everybody of what this box set is, just in case you're watching for the first time and have no idea what we're talking about. I think this is our fifth or sixth video / live stream talking about this project because we keep sort of adding new stuff and finalizing new designs and having more cool stuff to show off. But just to go back to the starting line, Terror from the Underdeep is a gigantic box set. It is for the 5th edition system. It has more than 400 pages of content. The core adventure, actually, I'll pause for a sec. Chris, do you want to tell everybody like the overview of the basic adventure that's in the box set?
Yeah, so we have 6 adventures that are one adventure each for the iconic giants that appear in D&D. And then the giants you think the kind of giants are all working together and everything, but in reality, they are being controlled by a sinister force down in the Underdeep. And then the next 3 chapters of the box set deal with the journey through the Underdeep, a really cool sunken city. Imagine Venice, but if it was down in the Underdeep, which is really cool, and it's ruined and it's not inhabited by people. And then finally, our final chapter, you go up against the ultimate big bad who's pulling all the strings. And since we're spoiling everything on here, you're going to see the art actually shortly. It's a Kraken. So we have a.
It's
Kraken.
not just any Kraken.
It's just Kraken. It's a Goodman Games Kraken. Let's just call it.
Yeah, it's not your run-of-the-mill Kraken. This is like.
It's pretty awesome. And this is a very high level adventure. It starts at 8th level and goes all the way through 16th level.
Cool. And so the box set itself is, we're calling it a huge box of 5e adventure, or maybe a colossal box or giant box. Giant box. It's going to be huge. It's got 4 books inside. Each is about 100 to 128 pages. So we're talking 400 to 500 pages of content, plus a cardstock inspiration tokens that you can punch out, and then we'll also have an upgrade option if you want to get like the poker chip style, like sort of more firm, solid ones. I think 4 poster maps, and Aaron here actually painted those, so he's here to talk about that. And then Stefan did a lot of stuff, but among other things, the cover art for one of the booklets inside that reveals the Kraken overlord. So he's going to talk about that in a little bit. But that's the basic overview of the project.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, this box sounds so giant. I think it should have its own crit tables.
I mean, we might be making up new stretch goals as we go here, Aaron. You might have just come up with one. So that's the overview. Some of you have seen some of these shows already, so some of this is going to be continuous from prior shows. On a prior show, we showed you mock-ups of the covers of the 5th edition fantasy adventures that'll be added on in this campaign. The campaign has not just the box set, but we are also doing what 5e fans have asked us to do for, I don't know how long, close to a decade, which is convert some of our famous Goodman Games adventures to 5e. So we are going to be converting Sailors on the Starless Sea, Idols of the Rat King, and The Lost Vault of Sathzar Row to 5e. And Matt, do you want to walk everybody through we've been tinkering with the cover designs. We showed you mock-ups before. Now we have the final cover design. Matt, you want to show everybody that?
Yep, I'd be glad to. We have evolved the look of our 5e brand just a little, both inside and out. And I think that the covers that we're going to be taking a look at reflect that. So these will look a little bit more sleek, a little bit more updated, a little more modern. Are we starting with sailors, Elena? Where would you like to start? All right, sounds good. So I think everyone's probably familiar with the classic, at least if you're a DCC fan, you're familiar with the classic yellow cover. This is a brand new cover that features a different aspect of the later on in this adventure where there's a Leviathan underneath the waves and it's tearing at a Viking ship, and the adventurers on the ship are being dragged underneath. And we have this awesome image where you can kind of see above and below the water surface at the same time. And in the back, there's a ziggurat. I think there's a theme. There's going to be a theme here today, which is all ziggurats all the time. And there's one in the background of this image because there is another underground ziggurat in that adventure. So that's the new 5e look for the classic adventure sailors. Let's what do you say? Let's do the Vault of Sathar Row next.
That sounds good. Yeah.
All right.
And this is an adventure. Some of you have heard of this guy named Mike Merles. He did a little bit of stuff, including making D&D 5e. But Mike and I have worked together for many years, and something like 20 years ago, he wrote this adventure for Goodman Games. It was originally published as Dungeon Crawl Classics #2. It's an awesome adventure, and it's high time we bring it back for people to see how cool his work is.
Mm-hmm. Nope. And I think, Chris, you were quoted as saying that some of the weirdest kobolds you're ever going to find are inside this adventure.
You like kobolds? We got packs of them for you.
And some of those kobolds are featured on the cover by Alex Cogon. And you can see this, there's a little bit of an underground look to this one too. I think you are technically in the Lost Vault at this point, fighting some weird mutant kobolds. So pretty cool. And then I think that probably one of the grossest covers that we've done is the next one. I think Idols of the Rat King, once again, started out way back when as a adventure for a different system, but now upgraded and updated to 5e. So this is the sewer-tastic image for Idols of the Rat King. This would be actually a good option for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cover too. Yeah. I think there's lots of mutagenic slime all over the place on this one. So it is great. It's great for sure. And then I think there's one other adventure we want to talk about too.
I think so. Mistaken. The lost treasure map. Was it the lost treasure map? Sorry, the Red Dragon's lost treasure map. Was that how we
no lost in there? Just treasure map. It's not. Map. If it was lost, there wouldn't be much of an adventure. So
yeah.
So remember about the whole spoiler thing? We wanted that, but we don't want to hide the treasure map because then nobody will find it, and then nobody.
Good point. Yeah, good thinking. Always one step ahead. That crystal oil.
Exactly. Just here for the fans. We're here for the people. We're here for the people. So this is the return of what I like to call the $2 module. We did this back in the day also, where we had a complete adventure. Nothing skimped on it here. It's got artwork, it's got maps, it's got encounters, fully developed encounters. You can grab this adventure, you could read through it and run it, within like an hour with your group. Low level. It's got all those classic tropes. I'm assuming we're showing the cover right now. I can't.
We are.
Mm-hmm. The hotel room. Yeah, so excellent. And there's, you look real closely. There's some little tidbits in there on that cover art that actually detail with the actual adventure. So and I actually really excited. I got to actually design the adventure. So I had a lot of fun actually getting back behind the computer and actually doing a little bit of design work. So
that's awesome. Now, and remind me, Chris, what was the price on this adventure again?
$2.
Wait, that can't be right. Did I hear you right? Say it again.
$2. You cannot even buy a bottle of water for $2. And let me tell you,
Stefan, I'll pay you $1 for that bottle of water.
Yeah, you're only renting the water. So I mean, this one, you got it all. You've got it, and it's on your collection and everything. And it's just, like I said, it's gonna be great. And we're gonna hopefully have it available at most of our conventions this year, so you'll be able to pick it up. But this is an opportunity for you to get it before everybody else. It's gonna be great. So
that's
couch cushion coin level of
yes.
purchasing.
Go search your couches for coins and bring them pennies. You can come right to us and you can send us pennies and we will send you.
We'll do an installment plan in case you can't find $2 in your couch right now. 10 cents a week.
Anytime you see Goodman Games at a convention this year, go to the couch in the hotel lobby
Yeah.
before you come to the convention hall, and you're golden.
Yep.
That's all you need.
No excuses. You can eat at a convention and also buy products.
Yes. Yeah. But seriously, everybody, we did this a while back, as Chris referenced, and it was there's a lot of people who are on the fence, not sure, new to D&D, maybe willing to try something new, but don't want to spend a lot of money. This will show you the quality of the stuff we do, and yes, it is literally $2, and that's for the print and the PDF edition. You also get a free PDF. So if you're not sure about this project and just want to, you know, dip your toe in the water, this will be one of the pledge levels, $2, and then later on you can upgrade in the pledge manager if you want.
Exactly.
Cool. So on the other end of the spectrum, if you want to spend way too much money, we have something for you. So yeah. So some of you know that we have I don't know what the right word is, weird taste here at Goodman Games. We like our fancy stuff and our cool, you know, leatherette covers and foil and just the fancy production values. And we've had the chance to do a lot of cool stuff over the years with, you know, textured covers and debosses and, you know, sewn in ribbons and edge printing, and we try to make deluxe editions of boxes just because some of us, maybe many of us, are collectors and really appreciate, you know, the physicality of a lot of cool printed product and just how neat it can be. So we're doing a box set, and we started thinking about what could we do to make this box set really cool. And I actually went through my collection of, I didn't bring all my stuff, but I have a lot of cool box sets that I bought over the years from different publishers who've done like really impressive, cool things with them. And it turns out I have one that would be perfect for this. So we're going to have for this box set a Deluxe clamshell edition. I don't have the samples yet, but I'm going to show you the inspiration. Goodman Games is not publishing this. This book was already published, I think, by Wizards of the Coast. No, 10 Speed Press licensed. But first of all, if you haven't bought Art and Arcana, it's an awesome book on the history of D&D art. And this is the fancy Deluxe edition, which was on sale at Amazon like 6 months ago, and I think is still like super cheap on Amazon. While you go to Amazon, buy Goodman Games products too, because we are also on Amazon. But this is a great book, and as we started brainstorming on, actually, it's a great box. It's also a great book. But as we started brainstorming on deluxe options, this box stood out. So we're going to do a clamshell deluxe box upgrade for Terror from the Underdeep. It's going to be this basic format. So if you open the sucker up, I call these facing C's. That's how I described it to the printer. So you have these two edged compartments that are open on 3 sides and the book inside. And the printer is doing a mock-up for me that'll fit the specs that we'll have, because we will have, you know, not one big hardcover, but instead have actually 4 soft covers inside, plus the poster maps, plus all that stuff. So the way they did it with Art and Arcana is they put the, you know, the fiddly bits in this kind of elastic strap thing. So we're going back and forth with the printer, but we may have some equivalent of this for the poster maps if you get the deluxe edition. Then of course, you know, the clamshell fold, which you can't really see it here, but you can actually, like, look, hands-free, set it on your tabletop. So it becomes kind of a, actually, not guys, now that I'm talking out loud, we should totally print like maybe a GM screen on the inside or something.
Yeah.
Because you can totally set this on the tabletop, and then it's like, yeah, I didn't think of that till just now.
Somebody write that down.
Somebody write that down. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, yeah, it's really cool. And so we're going to do a deluxe clamshell edition. It costs more, of course. The printer has to do all this fancy stuff. So it'll probably be an upgrade, probably $20. We're going back and forth in the costing. But if you want this, what you do is you pledge for the, you know, the main item, and then the add-ons, you'll click like the plus $20 upgrade to the deluxe clamshell.
Or
yeah,
even one of the panels could have a map, like a map, because, you know, it's nice
that's
judge
cool
to be able to reference your map in there, and maybe and some stats or something.
I mean, I wonder. Okay, now, Tiffany from Regent Printing, if you're watching this, you're about to groan. But, you know, we could, as long as you're doing fancy stuff, they will often, we can even print like something that has pages on it that like is adhered in and folds out. It's like a little map booklet that like folds out. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, or little photo corners, so judges could put whatever they decide to put in there, swap it out as people progress through the adventure. Yeah.
That's a great idea. We can actually have like the little elastic holders on both sides, just so they can put whatever they want there.
And
because they probably get a free PDF with this product, don't they? So they could print whatever they want out and put it on there.
Why, yes, Chris, good reminder. Yeah. Yes, free PDF with print purchase. How could we forget? Yeah. Anyway, that's actually really cool. We should totally do some sort of either inside printing or like elastic straps to hold your handouts or whatever. That's a cool idea. maybe even like a pocket. You think there might be like a little pocket along the bottom, maybe?
Mhm. This is turning into a trapper keeper all of a sudden.
Yeah, there's gonna be a cup holder, a pencil holder.
Extra dimensional cup holder. Like it just like pops out. Like yeah, actually I'll send the printer an email after this. And we'll have them quote all the options and see what we get. Yeah, this launches next Tuesday, so the price can't go up too much, but we'll evaluate what we can trade in and out for, you know, to still hold to the $20 upgrade cost. But those are cool ideas. Anyway, everybody, that'll be an option. So it's coming your way. And if you like the fancy stuff, it'll also have like, you know, gilded printing and stuff as well. It'll be cool.
Mhm.
Great.
So Aaron, I heard you painted some posters.
Yeah, there's been there's been some poster painting. I think we had so much fun making all those like awesome poster maps for the Caverns of Thracia that you know, we're starting to get carried away here too. So yeah, and I don't, you know, is Alana showing them at this point? Cool. So the poster map, okay, yeah, that's awesome. So I'll tell you a little
The way
something.
you painted it, you already knew it was awesome.
Yeah, there's a story. There's a little story here. So one year, my wife, she's a painter, and she taught me a lot about what I know about painting because I'm mostly a drawer originally. Um, she said, "What do you want for your birthday?" I said, "I want you to make a map for me." And she's like, "Ugh." So I had this map drawn that I wanted her to paint, and so she did it, and I used it in one of my games, and I loved it. So when we got kind of, I was doing a lot of art during the Thracia. I said, "Lisa, I need your help." And so she helped me paint like a couple of those panels, like where I drew it, then she painted, then I came back in and kind of tightened some things up. But so for this one, it was the same thing. I had so many of these paintings that, so Lisa helped on this one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It looks
So-
amazing.
There's a lot of detail packed in there. All the adventures have, you know, specific illustration site points. Some of them are cool because they're mobile. They actually move around the map. And so we put them in a kind of likely place they could be, but they could be in another area. And those are labeled as such. But I think it's really fun when you have a map that sparks the imagination of the GM, and you start to get your own ideas of how you want to fill terrain and do different things in there for traveling between spaces. And so anything that kind of sparks that, I personally love those kind of maps, and that's what we were kind of shooting for here. So yeah.
And I think our intention is we're going to show a few color maps, which will all end up being on the VTT end of things in full color. This map in particular, I think our plan is to make a big print that's going to be folded and included inside this box set. And we're kicking around 11 by 17, but I'm betting this one's probably going to be more like 17 by 22 when we're done. So
I think we made one of the stretch goals is going to be upgraded maps. I think I had the printer quote the basic cost is 11 by 17, but we have an upgrade option. Yeah, and that's an awesome looking map. That deserves something big.
It is. It's amazing.
Wait, Chris, do you want to talk through the content of it or how it relates to the adventure itself?
So are we looking at the map of Moraine right now? Since I can't see what we're looking at. Okay, yeah. So this is the Northlands. This is the setting for the 6 giant adventures in the box set. And then if you can imagine, the Underdeep is underneath that, and that'll be more poster maps that we're not ready to show off yet. So yeah, so all the adventures have a location. Aaron alluded to actually that two of the giant layers are actually mobile and move around. So it's ironic in the design process that we had 6 different designers design the giant adventures, one for each, and we did that on purpose. So we wanted them all to feel different and be completely different. We didn't just want, here's a fire giant castle, here's a cloud giant castle, we didn't want that. And we got some awesome, crazy ideas. Actually, if I recall right, I had pitches for 4 of the 6 adventures to be mobile, and I had to put on that. I said, no, we don't need too many. We don't want too many of them moving around. I said 2 sounds about right, because the fire giant adventure was also set inside of this Titan, and I think we actually have some maps for that too. And the author wanted the Titan to move around, and I was like, no. Let's just have two adventures move around. I'm like, that's enough for the game master to keep in control. But But yeah, so we have there'll be a gazetteer of the Northland, so there'll be brief descriptions of all these geographic locations, and they all kind of, not all of them, but some of them actually play into the backstory of the whole adventure, and some of them obviously the locations where all the giants layers are and everything, and then like you said, notes on the mobile ones as well. So yeah, so it's gonna be cool. You don't have to set these adventures in the Northlands, but if you want, we gave you that tool there. We gave you a short chapter to kind of include that and everything. But these adventures are all extremely very easy to drop into your existing campaign or to use them with the map that we have. We know some people like to do both and everything, and we really worked hard to make sure that these could be dropped in along. And actually, when you're playing this, you don't have to play all 6 giant adventures. You can play one of them. You can play all 6 of them. You can play them in any order. There's only one that leads into the Underdark. The other 5 you can play in any order that you want. So you could be discovering clues and decide, no, we don't want to go to the next. We want to go to this adventure next, or maybe So we kind of focused it on that, to just trying to keep the utility as best we can. The last thing we wanted to do was this might be a little bit of a shot, but create 6 giant adventures and then only let you play one of them. I don't know what that could be in reference to, but it could be something. So
All right, awesome. And Aaron, I think we have several of the other adventure maps to show you too, right?
Yeah, Alana, can we pull up 12.1? So as Chris was just talking about, the colossal that becomes basically the fire giant fortress. I mean, this thing's awesome because you actually go into it at like a site, and it's so massive that even fire giants use it as a lair and a home. So I mean, imagine the size for a standard size character. It's so cool. So this thing's set into the side of the mountain, and you can see where parts of it on this map are underground, embedded into the mountainside, and other are exposed. So you have this cool kind of different entrances, different places, different ways you can get into the site. But I just love the initial map of 12.1 because it has that artistic flair where you just get a sense of the scale and you get a sense of the environment. So this one's kind of fun.
That's awesome.
That's great.
I don't know if Chris wants to say anything about this.
No, this is one example of just how cool all of these adventures are. The initial 6 designers that did the giant adventures, they knocked it out of the park. I mean, if you think this adventure, this layer is cool, wait till you see the others. They all have their own different feel to them, and they're just very specific. And it really worked out. I couldn't have been more pleased with the way a little bit of guidance here and there, and then the design team just took off and did the rest.
Totally. Now, one thing I really loved about it was like just certain things in the description that alluded to like the players coming up and seeing like fire coming out from a forge. And so like the head you can see is upside down, but there's a forge in there, so there's light coming out. And I just like packing in little details like that so that, if the judge is running this, they can, remember to add that from seeing it in the visuals or whatever. But you'll also, on the VTT, you'll see it, obviously, the players will see it and be like, what is that? So. Okay, I guess we can move on to 12.2. So this one really shows like the entry level. So you're coming right into the chest, I guess, of the Colossal. And I just really thought this was a fun one because you have all these bits and parts that are broken and disintegrating, but I mean, there's places you can't go, but I mapped them, like just alluding to pipe work and different stuff. I got a little nuts here, but it was just fun to like set it into the space that it's, and there's 3 levels of this. So, and that T3, I mean, the reason it's all red is that's like a butcher. That's like where they cut up their meat. That's like a butcher's shop. So it's just like splattered. It's kind of nasty. That was kind of fun. But I just tried to like put in little details whenever, and there's like a pipe. Yeah, there's a pipe that goes to T9 that's like has a staff of frost, I think, buried under there. So I kind of put bluish hints to like remind of that, like all these places that are just getting kind of frosty.
Very cool.
All right. Cool. I guess we can move to 12_3. And here you've gone up a level. And I think there's, So you can kind of raise up on one side of the map, you got to cross the map to get to the next level. What's really cool is, see the elevated pipework in the middle is tunnels that the players could kind of fit through and travel through, or try to kind of get, there's different ways to get to other rooms, not just through the hallways, which is, I think, really sweet. And also vents, like in T11, there's these 4 vents, which were kind of tricky. Like, how do you make something look like it's above the map? So I tried to just put a drop shadow in. It's a good reminder. I'm sure you might not guess what it is until you read the description, but at least it'll be a reminder when you're back in here. And then there's like a collapsed portion on the right, because I guess that's the part where the colossal is into the mountain and the arms kind of getting, kind of crumpled and shoved in there, which creates an entryway, which is on the next map, 12-4. God, these would be fun to like go through in VTT and just see it. Oh, this would be so cool. So yeah, look at that kind of rust covered tunnel over on the right, upper right-hand corner. You could possibly find an entry through the arm and kind of plop out over there, which is cool. And then there's some caverns that also come into that section. So there's 2 different ways to get in from that side. And yeah, this was a really fun map. And I like just like adding all this kind of rust to the outside to remind you where you're at, Anyway,
Yeah,
I had
these are
fun
awesome.
making these. I hope you guys enjoy them. So yeah, that was.
And that's just one of the 6 giant layers.
And doesn't even get into the Underdeep part. First you do the giant layers, then you get into the Underdeep.
We mapped an entire sunken city we mapped out. So that's going to be another amazing poster map that's going to be just phenomenal. So yeah, there's so many cool parts of this that, we really feel that, even if you don't use the entire campaign as we wrote it, there's bits and pieces you can grab. Like if you just want a fire giant layer, grab just the fire giant layer and go use it. If you just want a sunken city down in the Underdeep, there you go. You've got that too. So, we know that game masters out there, just like us, it's like you very rarely ever use the entire all 400 pages. But when you make it really useful, there's going to definitely be something in there for everybody.
Yeah. And this is the level, if I recall, we're going to do a PDF preview in a day or 2 that'll come out if you guys want to actually dive in and read the text to go along with the awesome maps. So everybody watching this in a couple of days, we'll have a preview for you all to check out, and it's going to be this level.
And one more kind of maybe geeky nuance about map making. I learned this from the last ones when we did the color VTTs, is that we also then often print a black and white version in the booklets. And if you just convert that to black and white, the contrast isn't really there enough to punch out. So what I did is I individually went through these and converted them and altered them separately so that the black and white version would pop and have a lot more contrast.
Excellent.
Just kind of a weird little detail learning lesson. So people that go, oh no, I don't that thing's going to be faded again. No, it won't be. It'll have a lot more contrast. I think Matt might have noticed that. I sent him separate ones then.
That's great.
Yep, that's the advantage, like you said, of working on Thracia, doing some of the other cool projects in the past. Get to see those in print, and just our wisdom level as far as print production just grows and grows. So we appreciate you, Aaron. That's awesome.
That is awesome. And now I think we have to talk about Stefan's amazing cover. And then after you guys get your minds blown, then Chris can talk about fish and explain the coolest fish I've ever heard of and how it came to be in this adventure.
Oh, right on. Well, first I have to compliment Aaron on raising the bar for all of us artists to, I don't know.
I'm still trying to catch up to the artists. I'm trying to catch up to you.
Oh, you're doing customized grayscale maps. I don't know. Elena, can you show people Leviathan Sketch 2, I think it's called? And it's the one with the drawing of the purple creature. I originally got some notes from Chris, a couple of sentences, and a copy of the manuscript. And this scene was not yet in the manuscript. I hope it's in there now. But basically, Chris described is like, well, we're inside a ziggurat, so it's an opposite ziggurat. and there's a strange creature that we're calling the Kraken or Kraken. I'm never sure which is right. And so this is kind of where I started, because I understood that the Kraken was non-standard, but maybe this one's a little too non-standard. But this was like my earliest sketch, and I was trying to figure out how to draw the inside of a ziggurat. And as you can see, this is pretty good, but it's not quite there yet. So if we could go to the next picture, which I think is number 4 IMG. That shows a picture of my, in order to figure this out, how to draw the inside, I built a ziggurat out of foam core, as you can see.
It's awesome. Because that's what we do here at Goodman Games. We build ziggurats.
Yeah. It's a model ziggurat. And then if you can go to the next picture, which I guess is 5, once I built it, I was able to look at the inside and go, oh, well, that's what that would look like. And so that really helped. So
How
I was
cool
then
is that?
I'm sorry?
How cool is that? That's just awesome, Stefan.
Thank you. I guess then we can go on to sketch number 6, where the ziggurat looks pretty good, but the Kraken isn't quite there yet. I'm not thinking what Chris is saying yet at this point. But you can kind of see how it's coming along.
Actually, Stefan, I gotta say, this image is awesome. Like, it was different from the vision for this adventure, but I feel like somewhere, like in the yearbook or something, we should do something. We should maybe set up whatever we call this guy, old man Kraken face or whatever.
Yeah,
this image is awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna use him for something.
Yeah,
I don't throw anything away. But then we can go on to number 9, which this is later on, and one of the requests was, and Chris will talk about this, the top of his head is supposed to look like a clear dome, and you can see the brain, the mind inside it. And this is just the pencil one, an early version. And then if you want to go to image 10, it's a little further along. And then finally, you want to turn my camera back on again, I can show you the final, which is right here with me.
Ah.
Awesome.
So
That is awesome.
I'm just doing a little work on the windows and stuff. And the little priest down here needs a little more work, but then in the next 2 days, I think this is going to be done.
That's amazing.
Fantastic. So that image is going to adorn the cover of the 4th book. The 4th book that's going to be inside this box set. So when the adventurers finally get underground and they face the big bad, that part of the Underdeep will be featured in this book. So I can't wait. It's one of my favorite things that I've seen from you, Stefan, and that is a long list of favorite things.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's crazy. It's like I said, it's easy. I say this, it's easy. It's easy to write this stuff and say, oh, this is what it is. And it's like, but then to turn that over, and I have something in my mind what it looks like. And then, but Stefan's not crawling into my mind and figuring out what it is and everything. And if there's ever tools that we can, so I always go on the internet and grab pictures. It's kind of like this, but it's not really like this, but it's kind of like that. And for those of you asking, the see-through head is actually inspired off of a real creature. If Elena can pull up the barrel eye fish, if you ever have some time at work where you have nothing to do, just Google image barrel eye fish, and they will freak you out. They look like they are not real, but they are a real living fish down in the abyss of the ocean. And it took them a long time to actually discover them, because when they would ever pull one of these guys up and bring it to the surface, as soon as they pulled it out of the water, like that whole gelatinous whatever head thing would just kind of collapse in, And the taxonomists, they were like really confused at what they had here. They're like, wait, this looks like its fish is missing part of its head. But then they finally got a picture of one down in the deep where the pressure, I guess the water pressure evens out and everything. And you can see the dome and you can kind of see the glowing organs in there. Just absolutely crazy. And I remember early on in the project when we were, I collected a whole bunch of images of all sorts of crazy stuff that's from the real world, being a biologist, and threw it out there. And I said, we should use some of these concepts. And we all kind of gravitated to that fish. And we're like, oh, we got to work that in there somehow. And we're like, what about the head cultist? And I'm like, well, why don't we just make the Kraken that way? And everybody's like, oh yeah, that's where we need to go. So that's where we ended up going. And we changed the original author's whole design of the Kraken because we just thought this was cooler. It's a process we do a lot. I don't know if people have heard me talk about this before, but when we get something in, we always look to make it cooler. Like is that we turn things over to Aaron to do the apps and Aaron, to do the maps, and Aaron will come back and say, hey, this might be cool if we do it this way or something. And I'll be like, well, yeah, let me just go change the text on that because I love that idea. And it's like, so it's a process where we have all these different people touching it. It just at the end of the process, it's better than it was, when people, and sometimes the original authors say, well, that's not what I submitted. It's like, no, it's not, but we made it cooler. So.
You're welcome.
We feel that's kind of our job. Our job title is make it cooler and make it better. So that's what we do. So, and it's
Wait,
fun.
Chris, I gotta ask, I think I know the answer, but I'm gonna say this for the viewers who might be like me when I first saw this thing, trying to figure out what I was looking at. I'm looking at a fish, a real world fish that actually exists. This is a real photograph, not AI, not Chat GTP. This is
I know. I didn't take the photo. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, but biologists say this is real, and it has a clear head / skull, and you are seeing through its head into its internal organs and like brain. That's what we're looking at here.
That's what it is. Yes.
That is insane.
But yeah, I like biology. The function of outside of the creature, so I'm not like I don't know internal medicine or something, but yes, I'm pretty sure. I will look up on it because it is so fascinating, and it's just one of many creatures that live down in the deep oceans. We know more about like the surface of the moon than we know about like what's going on at like 30,000 feet down below in our own oceans. And there's some crazy creatures down there, and it's amazing inspiration when you're doing a project like this where you're going down into the earth really deep, and you're like, well, why can't we just tap into some of these things that already exist? Because Mother Nature's probably already done the hard work for us.
So Elena, if you don't mind, show Stefan's art again. Because when I first saw this image, Stefan, it like ruined my brain trying to figure out what was going on. So I just want to talk through my interpretation. Then like Stefan and Chris, you tell me if I've got it right. Because we're looking at the inside of a ziggurat. The bottom / the floor is actually the ocean.
Yep.
Like seawater. You got Kraken overlord with sort of cultist follower, and then all those jail cells. Tell me about the jail cells, because this was crazy when you described it.
So this site was originally a Drowish prison, and the prison is a ziggurat on an island out in the middle of the Dark Sea. So it's in the middle of the underground ocean. So it literally takes several days boat ride to get to find the island and get there. And the interior of the ziggurat is all cells all the way around, all the different levels. And then there's no place to stand. There's the cell doors, and then there's no place to stand because the drow would just use levitation magic to put the people whoever was in the prison in and out of the prison cells. So if you were to escape the prison cell, well, then you have to deal with like 100-foot drop down into the water. You had drow guards all around, but you had a 100-foot drop down into the water, and then you're just in the water. You're still inside the prison, so you still then would need to get out of the prison somehow, and that was just the way they designed it. But the Kraken, that was all predating the Kraken. That was the original purpose of the building. The Kraken actually eventually destroys the prison with a tsunami. So all the water, there's a connection underneath. All the water rises up and drowns everybody in the prison and all the drow.
God.
It out, and then our high priest actually survived that cataclysm, and it changed him forever, obviously. So later on down in his life, when he found the Kraken, he brought the Kraken here to that make it his lair, because this was a place he survived, and it was such a devastating, just ingrained on his brain. So yeah, we came up with this whole backstory and everything on what this site was, and since this is the climatic battle of essentially 9 adventures, we wanted it to be really cool and kind of, over the top, and we didn't want it just to be a flat piece of land on a on a rock in the dark sea. We wanted it something really amazing, and that's what we came up with. I will admit, I was somewhat inspired by Sailors of the Starless Sea when all this talk of ziggurats and everything, and I was like, wow, let's just do that here. But I was like, but let's go to the inside of the ziggurat. The outside's plain, and you can walk up it like steps. But yeah, so that's the long-winded story of how we came up with that location.
It's awesome. And Stefan, like, your painting captures it in such like a, I don't know. I guess you had to build a model to do it, but such like a physical way, I looked at, I remember looking at it for the first time thinking like, what am I looking at? Like, it takes you a while for your mind to grasp it,
No, thank you.
But he nailed it. He nailed it. Got those prison thoughts. That was exactly what I was looking for. I remember early on like whatever was sketch 4 or whatever, I was like, yep, you got, that is what I was thinking exactly. Because when you're designing these things, I mean, I can't map it out properly with everything. So I'm like, I think this would work. And I'm like, maybe. And I'm like, hopefully it would work, So
yeah, well, the big inspiration, if people want to Google, is, for me, the big inspiration was, if you look at Indian step wells, it's like the exact same shape, but rather than going up in the sky, it goes down in the ground.
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
And some of them are really elaborate. I know Harley put one in an adventure once, but we should use them some more, because they are really cool looking.
It's just another way to put a ziggurat in. So, why not?
Yeah, there's also one in White Plume Mountain.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, now I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Everybody knows that encounter. Yeah.
Yeah. And Stefan, I have to call back to your Devo comment. Tell everybody what you were telling us earlier.
Oh, I don't know if I'm on camera here, but this kind of looks like the Devo hat, doesn't it? I mean, it could be.
We got it, but the Devo hat's round, right? We got to do a round ziggurat. I think that's what our lineup is missing.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And yeah, aren't they called power domes? Isn't that the technical term for the Devo hat? I think that might be true. I'm not sure.
So we got Indian well somethings and power domes coming soon to crowdfunding near you.
Yeah. Power Dome sounds great. Power Dome sounds like the band I want to be in.
Isn't that where? Didn't Mel Gibson fight in the Power Dome? Was that the Thunderdome?
Underdome, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
that's awesome.
That's the tie-in. This is the Underdome, so that's perfect. Nice.
That's cool.
That's great.
Well, thanks, Stefan.
I would like to see Mel Brooks in the Thunderdome.
So, Matt, I think you have another cover to show us. This one's by Doug Kovacs, who couldn't join us today, but
true story. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, technically Aaron is working on the first cover, and then the second one is being worked on as well. I will say, I think that Mr. Peter Mullen might be working on that one, but Doug has finished the third. Yep, Chris is giving us a preview. Doug finished the third of the 4 adventure covers. And I'm going to let you talk about it, Chris, but it features something on it called a Dracolich, if I'm not mistaken.
A Dracolich, an undead dragon. But yeah, there's more to it than just an undead dragon. But yes, think undead dragon in the Underdeep. And then there's its lair is underneath kind of this chasm, but it can actually access this chasm, and there's a stone bridge. Of course, there's a stone bridge going over the big chasm, because why not? And we got a band of Kuatoa fish dudes, and they're crossing, and the Dracolich is just going ham on them. And again, I presented the very short description, a couple of sentences to Doug, and Doug just nailed it. I was like, I think I even said fish dudes, undead dragon, stone bridge over a chasm, and that's like all he needed. And then Doug just like waved his magic wand and disappeared for a while, and then came back and said, "Here you go." And it's great. It's an awesome piece. It'll definitely be one of those memorable encounters in the adventure where you will not forget that time when the Draco Lich attacked us on the stone bridge. You know, so and putting the fish dudes on there was just we always put the player characters on there. I'm like, let's show fish dudes getting run raked over the coals, but
I love it.
To mix it up.
I love this image. I mean, the undead dragon is amazing, but one of the things I like about it, I always like that classic trope, like in cartoons, where a character gets electrocuted and their skin turns like white and their skeleton is black. You can like see through it, and I think that one of the things this connected me to was, is it the Secret of Bone Hill, that TSR adventure where
Yes.
there's Bill Willingham is
Yes.
there's a wizard S zapping somebody, and it's not a Kuatoa, but there's some similarity there for sure.
Yeah, this is great. Awesome. By the way, if you're watching this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel, because we will keep doing cool stuff like this as long as the fans let us.
Nice.
But thanks everybody for talking art. Now we're going to switch gears slightly. One of the things we promised some of the followers of this project is that we're going to show you some of the pledge levels and what we're thinking. One thing we've learned through hard experience is every time we launch crowdfunding, on day one, somebody's like, but I wanted X, Y, and Q, not X, Y, and Z. So we wind up kind of scrambling to put together some, pledge levels that match what people want. And often they're the most popular ones. We get hundreds of backers at that level because like somebody wanted a slightly different configuration, but then a lot of people actually wanted that. So what we're going to show you all now is the crowdfunding page, in its current state. It's like 90% there. We're still hunting down some typos. There's one image that has to be finalized. But then show you some pledge levels and what we're thinking about. And then, everybody watching this, or everybody watches the recording later, if it turns out you want, A, B, and D and not A, B, and C, please do contact us. You can email info@goodman-games.com and be like, hey, this is the pledge level I want. It launches next Tuesday, so as long as you get to us in time, we'll see if we can accommodate. Sometimes there's like printer specs that make things hard, or the printer can produce it in certain combinations and shrink wrap them, so we're not always, it's not always easy as it sounds, but as much as we can do, we'd like to accommodate what people want. So Lena, if you can maybe show the preview of the crowdfunding page, and everybody, we're just gonna start at the top, scroll down a little bit, talk about the general. I mean, we've talked about most of this already, but talk a little bit about some stuff, and then we will go into the pledge levels. So, big image at the top, Terror from the Underdeep, first 48-hour back. Oh, by the way, if you back this in the first 48 hours, you get a free 24-sided die and a free dungeon delve, Underdeep delve. So please do back it early. You may be wondering, why is there a 24-sided die in a 5e project? We'll discuss that more. We already discussed it a little bit on one of the live streams. We're working on our own homebrew system of 5e called Advanced Advantage. And check one of the, I think, last video or the one before that, Chris went fairly deep into that. But we'll be posting updates throughout the project and giving you more details. But if you back this project, you can also get, and probably will get, the Advanced Advantage playtest pack, which is, affordably priced. I think it's like $2. I think we priced it at $1 or $2
for some reason.
Yeah. Anyway, you can throw that in and start homebrewing some cool 5e rules of this, including that free D24 die. You scroll down a little bit and you will see a mock-up image that says mock-up to come. And that is I showed you earlier, that will be a mock-up of what we expect our deluxe clamshell box to look like once we finish working with a printer and doing some graphics for it. And that image will evolve a little bit, but we will show you our deluxe clamshell option in that space. Then scrolling down a little further, you see the covers for the famous adventures that we're converting to 5th edition: The Lost Vault of South Star Row, Idols of the Rat King, and Sailors on the Starless Sea. And I'm walking you through all this because it'll be part of the pledge level. So when we get there, think about how you'd like to buy these things, what configurations you want. Scrolling down further, you see the giant-sized 28mm miniatures. We didn't talk about those much on this show, but we've talked about them quite a bit in the past. They're being created by our friends at Strange Plastic, which is a company that does miniatures, everything, sculpting, painting, casting, etc. Chris and I have our physical samples. So they are 28mm, and at 28mm scale, actually, you can see in the photo there, the D20 and the cultist at the base of one of the figures, like giant size miniatures at 28mm scale, are truly giant size. These are 4 to 6 inches tall, and they're amazing. So these are the add-ons to the campaign.
It should be like maxitures instead of miniatures. They're maxia. I don't know.
Maxitures.
It's like jumbo shrimp. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there you go.
Totally. So add those on if you're interested. These are crowdfunding exclusives. We're not doing retail facing packaging for them. So so we have no plans to offer them to stores. If you're a store watching this, you can pledge for this and sell them in your store. Just full disclosure, there's no retail friendly packaging. It's no price, no barcode. You might have to figure out that part on your own. But if you're a regular consumer watching this, this is your chance to get them. We don't intend to put them in stores. We're still sort of dipping our toe in the water with miniatures, but people keep asking us, and 5e, obviously, they work really well. So scrolling down a bit, you also get the Advanced Advantage Playtest Pack, which will be the first booklet describing some of our variant rules. And we want your feedback. So backers will be able to, after you take this home and play it for a bit, send us feedback, and we will consider that as we evolve the system. Then, of course, we have the Red Dragon's Treasure Map, only $2 for a complete adventure. If you're unsure about this project, pledge $2 and maybe upgrade later if you like what you see. And then down below that, we have several other options. We wanted to give 5th edition players a lot of choices here. So we have 2 hardcover compilations that have additional short adventures. Each of these is around, I think it was 15 adventures, if I remember right, Chris, that are each sort of one session. And they're mostly basically levels 1 through 4, mostly level 1, 2, and then a couple level 3, 4s. And each volume has a number of designers you recognize, like Brendan LaSalle, Harley Stroh. A lot of their adventures are mixed in. So these are hardcovers that you can add on, the Compendium of Dungeon Crawls, volume 5 or 6. Then you'll get inspiration tokens with the box set in kind of a cardstock punch-out format, but we have customized like poker chip format, which you can get here, as well as a t-shirt and the 2-page Underdelves. And there's another amazing cover coming for that. We all just saw Will McCausland's sketch, so we'll reveal that cover during the campaign. And then, of course, we'll have a PDF preview as well. So now, Elena, if you can click back it, and let's show everybody what pledge levels are. So we walked you all through what the different, components are here in the project. Here's how we intend to kind of bundle them. The first thing to know is if you back here at the crowdfunding stage, it basically is more affordable than doing it later. Every level saves at least 10%. As you sort of stack more things together, it becomes more efficient for us to pick and pack or have the printer sort of pre-bundle them. So the savings grow from 10% up to about 25%. And if you want to add something on, you can add on at a 10% discount as well. So if you don't find the exact bundle you want, but you want to do this pledge level and add on this thing, you'll still save at least 10% on the add-ons. And as Chris reminded me, all of our print products come with a free PDF. So if you buy the print, it's regular price of the print stuff, and the PDF is free via a download code later. But the pledge levels, and please, again, give us your feedback if you have thoughts. At the top here, you save 10% if you get the massive box set, the 2-page Underdeep Delves, and the Advanced Advantage Playtest Pack. That comes in at $88, saving 10% for the print plus PDF. A lot of people want just the books. They don't necessarily want all the miniatures or their add-ons. So we have an all the books level, which has the box set, the 3 5th edition fantasy sort of famous adventures, as well as the $2 adventure. Playtest packet number 1, the 2-page Underdeep Delves, and the 2 hardcover compilations of dungeon crawls. And that's $204, which is a $50 savings from buying them all individually. And if you support at this level, you're going to get the stretch goal pack. We always wind up passing a bunch of stretch goals. We'll talk through those on another show. So you'll get that as well, which is free to backers. And then we have basically the everything level, all in for all of it. This gives you all the books, just like the previous level, as well as all 3 of those huge miniatures and the inspiration tokens with the custom poker chip format and the Giants and Harder t-shirt. So this is, and a D24. So this is everything but the kitchen sink. Literally everything in the project. It's huge. It is a $307 pledge level, but you'll save $100 compared to buying it in stores. So you're saving just about 25%. And of course, you get PDFs for free and whatever stretch goals we clear.
And you get Steven's ziggurat model, his hat.
Actually, we throw all these backers into a pit because there's only one model, and they all fight over it. And whoever comes out of the pit alive gets Stefan's 3D model. Stefan, you're muted, but I'm sure you're saying wonderful things.
He's making wonderful art.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. And then if you scroll down, Elena, to the next row, those are kind of the featured bundles that give you the best deals. If you want to get more individual items, you can get the massive box set, print plus PDFs. You'll save 10% and, of course, be eligible for the stretch goals. You can get the $2 adventure. Full disclosure, we did not apply the 10% discount to the $2 adventure. So you have to pay full retail of $2, but you will get the
oh man, because if it was 80, I would have considered it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do that math right. I think I might have.
You did good. Yeah, but check your sofa cushions, Chris. Maybe you can, find the missing 20 cents. Then you get into the digital editions. We do PDF only, which some people prefer, for 10% off of the box set. And if we scroll down one more tier, Elena, you have the different configurations of combinations. So if you buy the box set plus the 2-page Underdeep Delves, you'll save 10%. If you throw in PDF editions of all of the books, you save 20%. And if you want the $2 adventure in PDF form, it becomes the $1 adventure. So we'll charge you $1 for the PDF edition of the Treasure Map of the Red Dragon. And finally, retailers have a pledge level as well. And if you just want to follow the project now and maybe upgrade later, you can pledge $1 just to watch things and see how they progress. And I think there you have it. Anybody in the chat, if you want to throw out any comments on pledge levels we're missing, or if you don't have any comments now, feel free to contact us later and let us know.
The question I saw a little bit earlier is I think you piqued someone's interest, Chris, when you talked about mutant kobolds. Someone did say, "Tell me more about these mutant kobolds," but I don't know if there's any uniform to the mutation, right? I mean, I think that there's a variety of different.
Yeah, they're all subjected to eldritch magics, I believe, from ancient times, and they're all twisted and they have different abilities. And there's like numerous ones of them. So I haven't actually read the adventure in months and months and months, but yeah, a lot of yeah, you can see on the cover there that there's several different types that they're mutated, and you can see. I believe that they're based off of some of the base dragon types, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, cool.
That though, but yes, I think so, because kobolds are descendant from the dragon folk. So I believe that was the basis. But yeah, they're cool though. But that's there's nothing cooler than that. If there's something that DCC RPG has shown us is whenever you give character players think they're fighting zombies or something, but then you put a twist on it and give it a different ability or something and totally surprise them, like they love that. I mean, well, the game master loves it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love it because it's cool and it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Cool. That's great. You think we're going left and we went right. Yeah. Exactly. Cool. I don't see any other questions, more recent. A couple of favorable comments about both of the artists' work and also what a cool idea it is for the inside of the ziggurat to be the prison.
So yeah, that's an awesome encounter. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We've rambled on for an hour, which is probably enough time for today. But if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you're figuring out how to spend this week's allowance, please take a look at Terror from the Underdeep, which will be launching live on Backcrypt crowdfunding next Tuesday. And actually, Eileen, if you want to drop in the chat the link, you can click the little link button and follow the project on Backcrypt, which means you get a notification when it goes live. And remember, if you back in the first 48 hours, you get all sorts of bonus stuff: free 2-page delve, free D24, stuff like that. So, and hey, Shane Madgett, how are you? And everybody else, John, Zach. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and let us know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll see you next Tuesday for the launch show.
Awesome.